The town of Red Hollow, tucked away in the pine-covered hills of western Montana, appeared peaceful at first glance. Small, close-knit, and surrounded by dense forests, it was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone. But as the sun began to dip below the horizon, a strange ritual overtook the town, something newcomers could never understand at first. By 7:00 p.m., every single person had to be inside. Doors locked, curtains drawn, and not a soul was allowed on the streets. Every evening, at precisely 6:55 p.m., a deep mechanical bell would toll from the town square. Loudspeakers stationed throughout Red Hollow echoed a warning. It is 7:00 p.m. Please return to your homes. Shut your doors. Lock your windows. Do not look outside. Do not speak to anyone until dawn. On this particular evening, the town's elder and self-appointed protector, Sheriff Ronald Shaw, moved from street to street, ensuring the rule was followed. "Logan," he called to his deputy, "has everyone returned home?" "Almost, Sheriff," Logan replied. "A few stragglers, but I'll round them up." "You know what happens after 7, boy," Shaw said grimly. "Hurry, and then get your own damn self inside." Logan nodded and ran off. At Shaw's own home, his teenage son David was rushing to shut every window. "Dad," he asked, "why do we draw the curtains if we already lock everything?" Shaw paused, then walked over. "The curtains, son, aren't to protect us from them getting in. They're to protect you from seeing them. If you look, if you speak to them, they'll use that to trick you, just like they tricked your mother." David froze. His mother had vanished 7 months ago. She was one of the first to go when the bell rule had been disobeyed. The family had said she was in a car accident, but David always had doubts. "Go close the last curtain," Shaw said gently. "They'll be here soon." David obeyed, heading to the window in the hallway. But as he reached for the curtain, a familiar voice drifted in from outside. "David! David, honey! It's Mom!" He stopped dead. Standing just beyond the front yard was a woman who looked exactly like his mother, wearing the same red cardigan she wore the day she disappeared. "Mom?" he whispered. "Yes, sweetheart. I found my way home. Your father lied to you. He told you I died, but I didn't. I've been looking for a way back to you. Please, open the door. Let me in." David turned to call for his dad, but then hesitated. She had said his father was lying. She looked so real, so warm. "Please, before they come," she begged. David, heart pounding, unlatched the door. But the moment the door creaked open, she was gone. The yard was empty. "Mom?" he called out. From behind, the house plunged into darkness. Sheriff Shaw pulled David away from the open door and slammed it shut. "What the hell did I tell you?" he hissed. "She was here. She looked real. That wasn't your mother." David was dragged into a side room as something began pounding on the front door. Outside, the voice returned. "David, let me in. Why won't you let me in?" But Shaw held him back. "Don't speak. Don't respond." Eventually, the pounding stopped. David cried himself to sleep, confused and heartbroken. In the morning, Shaw took David to the edge of the woods, where a rusting old school bus sat under a thick blanket of moss. "This is where your mom died," he said. 7 months ago, we were late returning from the city. The bell had already rung. We tried to hide in this bus, but while I got in, she didn't. She stopped to help a crying girl on the roadside. That girl wasn't human. She was bait." David stared at the bus. "They surrounded us," Shaw continued. "I watched them pull her away, and I couldn't do a damn thing. But I realized something. They never stepped inside the bus. Later, I found this." He held up a string of prayer, beads rosary-like, but with an ancient carved stone in the center. "These were hanging inside. I believe they're what kept me safe." Back in town, David couldn't shake the voice he heard, the face he saw. He tried to distract himself at the old diner run by Mrs. Connolly, the town's unofficial historian. But again, at 6:55 p.m., the bell tolled. "Time to head home," she said, ushering him out. As David walked, he overheard a conversation between Connolly and a man named Buck, who lived near the old bus. "That boy's mom, she comes back, doesn't she?" Buck said. "Every night," Connolly replied. "But she's not what she was." That night, David didn't go straight home. He followed Buck to his house. At 7:10 p.m., the voice came again. "Buck, I'm here. Let me in." "It's Nandini," David gasped. That was his mom's name. "You're not her," Buck said, standing at the window. "I watched you get torn apart." But still, the voice persisted, and with it, dozens of children's voices began chanting from outside. "Come play with us, Uncle Buck." Buck sighed, reached under his coat, and lifted the same beads Sheriff Shaw had shown David. "These," he whispered, "are the only reason you can't come in." The shadows outside hissed. David, hiding behind the stairs, saw it all. The next morning, he told his father everything. "So it's true," David said. "Those beads, they protect us." Shaw nodded. "But only if you never ever talk to them. You broke that rule." "What happens now?" Shaw looked toward the forest. "Now, they know you see them, and they'll try harder." David's world had changed. The town wasn't cursed. It was haunted by its own dead. They were once loved ones. Now, they were something else. And every night at 7:00 p.m., Red Hollow held its breath, waiting, hoping that no one would open the door again.